you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I'm sure this session is going to be a very interesting and very informative one with His Excellency Mr. Harib Al Mahiri. So, Abu Dhabi is the capital of capital, and it is at the cusp of transforming into a knowledge based economy driven by innovation and technology. By touching on livability, healthcare, education, community building, and so much more, this discussion will delve into the factors that are shaping Abu Dhabi's identity as a global city. Now, after Your Excellency's permission, I'd like to give the audience a bit of background about ADIO's work, just so you have a bit of background about the importance of this office. So ADIO aims to make Abu Dhabi a long-term home for all residents and investors by understanding their needs and enhancing the quality of life in the Emirates through recommended policy changes. By attracting top talent, investors, and their families, ADIO's mission is to grow the economy and communities of Abu Dhabi. So I want to give you a few numbers about the economy of Abu Dhabi so you can grasp the importance of this conversation as well. So the Emirates' gross domestic product grew by an annualized 4.1% in the second quarter of this year. Abu Dhabi's GDP value for Q2 in 2024 reached a new record, surpassing 297 billion dirhams. For the first 6 months of this year, Abu Dhabi's economy recorded a 3.7% increase on an annual basis. So, Your Excellency, these are very impressive numbers here. And my first question to you is, how much of this, in your view, is due to the Emirates attracting top talent, investors, and their families in the past year?
So first of all, I want to say thank you for hosting this session. It's my pleasure, honestly, to tell you how we've been attracting not only investor and talent, but also family offices who would like to expand their business or even moving the entire business to Abu Dhabi. To answer your question, talking about talent versus the entire developments happening in Abu Dhabi through different clusters. I give you example now when we talk about education by having the first AI university in Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed University, and also to have a Cleveland Clinic Hospital in the healthcare sector. It's give the right signal for all talents who wants to develop skills or to find the right home for them. It cannot be better than Abu Dhabi. And I'm not trying to say this just as a marketing purpose, but it's a fact just around you. If you see the hospitals, the universities today, Abu Dhabi has all the education system. If it's a British, if it's American, including also Russian schools, we have French schools. So all that contribute to environment where it can be very attractive for all the segments, not only talent, to be part of the city.
Yes, Your Excellency, you mentioned Abu Dhabi's world-class infrastructure. There's also a healthy employment market and tax-free income policy. So my next question to you is, how does ADIO support Abu Dhabi's appeal as a prime destination for entrepreneurs, startups, family offices, and investors?
See, if I was in this panel 5 years ago, I will try to explain and position Abu Dhabi to say why Abu Dhabi. But today, honestly, if I allow me to say, the argument today or positioning Abu Dhabi, it's became completely different. The question today, why not Abu Dhabi? Meeting different investors from different countries, talking about the livability standards Abu Dhabi reached today, it can be very attractive for all the segments. We were talking about safety, we were talking about tax, we were talking, but today, if you put all this in one basket, it will be the right environment for investors.
My next question is also pertaining to Adio. What are the key initiatives, in your view, that have driven Abu Dhabi's push to becoming a key player in global trade? And how does this position benefit entrepreneurs and startups? And by that, I mean, it's not only about bringing investors, family offices, and top talents, but keeping them here. So, what are some of the key initiatives that are happening that are keeping these talents in the Emirates?
May I ask how many of you try to open a new business outside his country or outside his region? Can you raise hand? That's a good number. I'm sure the first question comes to your mind. Now, expanding your business outside your comfort zone, your country, it's a bit challenging. The first question could come, who can give me the right information about the sector I'm going to invest? Let me say in Abu Dhabi. I don't want to mention any other country. Who will help me to meet the right entities or the right investors? Who will help me to find me the right business partner or investor partner? And this is only in one side. The other side, I'm sure you will be thinking of how I'm going to move my stuff there. Will they like the environment there? Am I going to get the right staff and talent to support me to grow my business on the city I'm looking to establish my business there? So all the questions I put on the table here, it will be from our side. So in Adio today, we established a department who can provide you all the information you need, who can provide you or even arrange for you all the meetings you need to have with different entities. Today, in my office, we've been dealing, or we have more than 230 partners from government, semi-government, and private sector as well. So our objective here, we want you to expand your business, move to Abu Dhabi with peace of mind. That's only one side. Can you imagine, and sorry for all the ladies here, but can you imagine today when you come home after a long day and your wife telling you, I couldn't find the right school for my kids? I'm sure you will start thinking that to move to another country, we do that as well. So once you establish your business in Abu Dhabi, I have a team who will give you even the different options for your kids' school. So basically what I'm trying to say here, I won't call it even investor journey because we call it investor experience in Abu Dhabi. We are going through this experience with the investor step by step. We are paying attention for the human part of it, just to make the investor move to Abu Dhabi with peace of mind.
Yeah, you've spoken about a lot of these factors, including education, including livability. I want to talk more about livability. So, Abu Dhabi is positioned as the world's safest city for 5 consecutive years. But as I said, let's talk about livability. How has Adio worked on making Abu Dhabi an attractive, livable city for investors and family offices?
I will go back to the comment I mentioned, the investor experience, which we designed for the international investors and family offices. Always we make sure that when we invite investors to Abu Dhabi, to show them the 2 different elements of livability in Abu Dhabi, the business and the entertainment as well. Promoting Abu Dhabi as one city or one environment which can cover all the requirement for family offices and investors, it's a key for us. So that's one side, but also on the same time, after having the investor establishing his or her business in Abu Dhabi, we keep the engagement with them. We keep the engagement to understand the experience so far. Let me say, if he or she feel there is a policy needs to be enhanced or changed, so we will be behind them. So we are not the entity who will attract the investor and engage them with the right entity and leave them alone. So always will be behind them to offer them end-to-end service. By offering all or covering all the steps and being behind the investor all the time, that's help us to understand the investor requirement, if it's related to livability, if it's related to policy, or even to benchmark his experience with the other country experience. So that's helped a lot to improve livability in Abu Dhabi, especially that Abu Dhabi today has more than 200 nationalities. So that's helped a lot.
Have you found in your experience that investors that are coming in are more concerned or more giving more importance to livability, business environment, or something else? I think people would want to know that, or all of the above. Is there one specific thing that people coming from abroad want to make sure that is lenient, is available, and is easy to deal with?
I think livability, business environment, and safety, all of them equal. Today, as a businessman, while you are doing your business in the office, you need to make sure that your kids in a safe environment. You need to make sure that your wife and your family enjoying the time on this city. Even for yourself, I mean, weekend, you want to enjoy the time here. So livability, safety, and business environment, it's equal.
Are there certain metrics where you're acquiring talents and investors from abroad? Are there certain individuals, let's say, or businesses that you are aiming for, or is it a matter of creating this environment Abu Dhabi and they will come either way?
So to answer your question, let me tell you a little bit about our mandate and what we are doing. In ADIO, we are not only in charge of enhancing the investor experience, but personally also I have a number of projects which we are managing for the government. So investor experience, it's one thing, but also we do work closely with the tourism department in a program called Tourism Development Program. So basically, the tourism department mandate to attract tourists, but this program mandate to attract certain initiatives to Abu Dhabi. For example, helping Abu Dhabi Airport to attract certain airline, helping DCT or tourism department to attract certain brands, hotel brands, boutique brands, helping the private sector to attract certain F&B program. So this is one project. The other project also, as I mentioned, the family offices and ultra high net worth. As you know, everybody we've been talking about attracting family offices and ultra high net worth to their cities. So this is one of the key projects we are running currently, where we came up with 13 initiatives under this project. For example, to attract family offices, you need to have the right environment for them. So currently we are talking to 7 brands for private clubs. We are talking to 6 brands for boarding schools. Also, we are talking to the local banks to make sure their private banking aligned with the expectation of the family offices who's going to expand their business here. Because in the end of the day, it's Abu Dhabi reputation. Also, one of the initiatives under this project, the Wealth Institute. Currently, we are talking to the top 3 wealth institute in the world, not just to bring it as a brand, but also to bring the entire system in Abu Dhabi. Also, the third project, we are running the regional development with related entities in Abu Dhabi. As you know, Abu Dhabi as Emirates, it's more than 75% from UAE space. So, which has three different cities. So we have Abu Dhabi City, Al Ain, and Al Dhafra. Also, we are being tasked to develop Al Ain and Al Dhafra region to be one of the cities to attract either factories, industrial, or even tourists. So if I put everything I mentioned in one basket, it will show that we are trying to build the right business community in Abu Dhabi, which is will be completely new here. So this is the community which everyone would like to be part of.
Yes, for sure, and it's a very big mandate, and I think it's a very big responsibility. My next question would be: it seems like there's a lot of projects ongoing, and a lot of bringing in these top talents and investments. Do you see that you have reached? Of course, the amount can grow and grow because it's still an ongoing work. But has it reached a good amount of talent and investors that are coming in, or is your outlook for the future to bring in more and more?
Talent, talent is the future. And as I mentioned previously, by having the top universities here, that's a good signal to drive talent. But also at the same time, through my colleague in Abu Dhabi Investment Office, we've been identifying 13 clusters to focus on. One of the sectors, for example, which we announced three already, but one of the sectors, as an example, the agriculture. Now, if I take one of each cluster, we've been identify. We went through it in more details. We identify the number of talent. They need to be attracted to Abu Dhabi from which country, from which city, from which university. So, to answer your question, we have a clear roadmap by driving or attracting investor and talent to Abu Dhabi. I keep saying, even in my interview this morning, personally, I've been a bit picky when it comes to investor attraction. I don't want everyone to come here to invest, but I want to have the investor who is ready to contribute to Abu Dhabi non-oil GDP. So that's one. And also who is willing to work closely with the other investors who's been attracted to Abu Dhabi. So to focus on certain sector, certain investment amount. This is our goal here.
You mentioned three sectors that are being focused on. One of them is agriculture. Can you let us know the other sectors that are being focused on to bring in those investors?
Have you? I'm not sure how many of you living here, but have you seen the one of them? I mean, Sabi, for example, and I will give you example. 6-7 months ago, it was the first passenger drone being tested in Al Ain city. I'm not sure if you seen or if you heard that. 40 minutes flying around the area, that's a big achievement. And hopefully within end of next year or beginning of 2026, you will see the first taxi in Abu Dhabi. Agriculture, we talked about it, and very soon we are going to announce another two. It's give you a very clear message that we are very focused when it comes to Abu Dhabi needs and what do we need from our investor to invest in.
Thank you, Your Excellency. For my last question, I have to ask about looking ahead. Where do you see Abu Dhabi in the next 10 to 15 years, and how will it continue to evolve as a hub for growth, opportunity, and community, in your view?
seeing Abu Dhabi, if you see Abu Dhabi today, Abu Dhabi being divided to different zones. Um, who is who wants to be a part of the success story of Abu Dhabi, my advice to invest in Abu Dhabi today. Otherwise, after 5 years, you will be just one of many. So this is one. Second, if you see Abu Dhabi divided to different zones, and I will take the financial districts as ADGM, where we are in today, where you see different hotels being connected to a shopping mall, to hospital, to residential area. This gives you a clear strategy Abu Dhabi is going through and mapping as well. Where Abu Dhabi is going, by mentioning all these clusters, the drone taxi, focusing on specific investment opportunity, Abu Dhabi, it will not be less than any top cities today, I mean, without mentioning names. But my advice would be, if you take your business really serious, you shouldn't miss the opportunity to invest in Abu Dhabi today.
Your Excellency, thank you for those great ending words and very insightful and informative session about the future of Abu Dhabi, the investment landscape, and ADIO's super work. Thank you very much, Mr. Harib Al Maheri.
Thank you.